Mhm.
Hey, Rafael, thank you so much for taking out the time to share your experience of what it's been like being with us in our 8-week sales mastery course with other firm owners that might be considering enrolling in our 8-week sales mastery course. But before we dive into some questions, I'd love it if you could share where you're at in the country and also what does your firm specialize in and who do you focus with most as your clients?
Okay, so I'm based out of Miami, Florida. Essentially, my firm does is pretty generalist. We do, tax returns, bookkeeping,
Yeah.
tax resolution. Um, at the moment, we don't have a niche. We don't focus on anybody right now. I'm slowly working towards that.
Oh,
But at the moment, I do have some people in e-commerce. The majority of my clients are in e-commerce.
so you do have a niche. So what were the
Yeah,
biggest challenges that you were facing as it related to your sales or lack of sales process when you first reached out to us?
I just couldn't close them.
Hmm.
I just, you always want the leads, and you want to see more leads, but
Hmm.
once you have them, you just kind of like fumble them because you don't have a process on how to convince the client that you're the right person for their, to fill their needs.
Yeah. And so I know I'm jumping ahead, but I just want to ask
Mhm.
because I think so many firm owners think they need more leads. They just need to do more marketing. They should be spending money on marketing versus learning how to close. What would you say to a firm owner now that you've been through the 8-week sales mastery course where you said, you couldn't close them and you could have all the leads in the world, but if you don't know how to enroll and how to get them engaged and pay you premium fees, then what's the lead worth? What would you say to a firm owner who thinks they need more leads?
I think that you might be throwing money down a hole
Yeah.
unless you have an effective sales process in place for when you do get those leads because and it hurts to see that you get all these leads and they have to watch them fly away essentially because you just didn't know how to connect.
Yeah, and how much total revenue did you leave on the table because you didn't know how to convert and connect and close those leads that you missed out on?
Oh, thousands, tens of thousands,
Hmm.
tens of thousands.
So, what motivated you, Rafael, to move past that realization, understanding that you didn't need any more leads? You needed to figure out how to close and create a sales process where you reached out to us for help.
Well, I've been hearing about the abundant accountant for a while.
Mhm.
um Only recently, before I made the decision, I began listening to your podcast.
Mhm.
And, listening to so many people that I've already listened to in other podcasts, Ron Baker and Eric Green and so on and so forth, but then also hearing testimonials from my own students. I'm like, wouldn't it be so cool, if I could be telling a success story? And, essentially I said, you know what? I've done the other part where I'm a good technical accountant. I
Yeah.
am a good technical tax person. Let's get on the closing and getting clients on board because that was the missing piece, I believed. And honestly, I just got tired
Yeah,
of
getting
not
clients
doing
on
the right thing.
board. Yeah, and you were exhausted and tired, but just to clarify, getting clients on board, you mean getting them signing engagement letters and getting paid money in your bank account. Okay.
Absolutely, yeah. Walking them through once you get them on the call, you're
Yes.
basically walking them through. Okay, was your credit card information, here's the engagement letter. And, we begin once you submit X documents to me. And thank you for becoming a client.
Yeah, awesome. And I know you listened to the podcast for a while and you weren't closing, you left thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars on the table. What fears or reservations did you have about enrolling in the 8-week sales mastery course and whether this would work for you, just like it worked for others?
Well, honestly, I have a little bit more of a higher self-esteem
Yeah.
in the sense that I knew that if the right system was put in front of me, I
Mhm.
just have to work at it,
Yeah.
put in the work, and I'm already seeing the fruits of the labor. I mean, I'm already quoting and having the quotes being accepted by the clients at a
No, you're
much higher
enrolling. We don't
rate.
quote
Yeah.
fees,
Well,
Rafael. We
well, you're
enroll.
right. That's right. All right. Well, yeah. I'm enrolling clients at a
There you
higher
go.
price than
Yeah.
what I would normally charge.
Yeah. And
So
how much has your revenue increased because now that you're getting clients who are engaging your firm, paying you in the first meeting, and you're enrolling them into your higher fees? What have been some of your biggest successes and wins in just the last 8 weeks, if you can add it up or share that with us?
yeah, I've recently signed enrolled um, three or four clients I didn't have before, and totally it's about 20 grand. And I know that before this program, I would have probably sold that for like 8 grand, something like that.
Eight, you said?
Yes,
So your
20 to
total
8.
gain was about 12,000 in
12.
revenue.
Yes,
Is that on a monthly
yes.
basis?
No, that's
Okay.
yearly because they're tax clients.
Tax. Okay. I didn't know if it
Yeah,
was for your monthly or your one time.
no, we're
Yeah.
working on that. Yeah, working
Awesome.
on getting that.
Good. And I'm just curious, but what motivated you to move past any doubts, reach out for help, commit to the program, go all in once you had the right system put in front of you? What motivated you to do the work, show up to the group coaching calls, and really just go all in, Rafael?
Just my determination to reach my goals,
Mhm.
ultimate, financial freedom where I can, work with a select few of clients
Mhm.
while still earning, a good income. And I'm able to enjoy my life, outside of, the office. I don't want to work in my business. I want to run my business,
Yeah.
so that's
Yeah.
essentially what motivated me.
Yeah. No, and I love that. So if you could share a lesson that you've learned with your younger self about this program, because you said you heard about the Abundant Accountant for a while, but it took
Hmm.
you some time to reach out, listening to podcasts. So if you could tell Rafael 2 months ago something, what would you tell your younger self now, knowing what you've known today? You've increased your revenue by 12,000 just off 4 clients. You have a life, you're enjoying yourself, you're more relaxed. Like, what would you
Hmm.
share with yourself now about this program, knowing what you know? That there might be another firm owner that's heard about this for a long time, but just hasn't reached out for the support.
I think if just being busy doesn't mean you're progressing.
Mhm.
So finding the right system for the different parts of your business, particularly mine with sales. Again, I've I'm a solid accountant. I'm solid tax person. Now it was time to find that system that I was going to be able to enroll the clients at the price, that I'm worth. I feel that I'm worth.
Yeah, I'm so proud of you, and I'm so happy of all of the work that you've put in. I'd love it if you could share what did you feel was unique and different about our 8-week sales mastery course and our coaching program that was different from maybe other things that you have tried in the past? Or what was just unique and different that you really thought was a game changer in having you get these results that you've gotten?
Well, I believe this program forces you. It truly does to dig deep,
Yes.
right? To understand your whys as to why you want to be. So, what's going to motivate you, and not even motivate you, what's going to be that
Hmm.
North Star that's going to point, keep you working and progressing in the right direction,
Yeah.
towards your goals. And I'm very grateful that, whatever work I had to do, it was always being reviewed and I was getting constant feedback. So you were never left like in the lurch, like, yeah, you did it and that's it. And you're wondering whether was it correct or not. So even after you do a submission, they'll, as many times as you need, they'll review and like and get it back to you. So I'm very thankful for that because it gives you instant feedback on if what you're learning is correct. And they'll even like help you like think outside the box of what you may have been, you know, what you might have learned in the past, and really is not working. anymore in this day and age because things have changed a lot.
Yeah. No, it's definitely true. And thank you so much for sharing that. And I think, because you did the homework is why you got the results that you got. And yes, we provide your, comments, feedback, edits, suggestions. But at the end of the day, Rafael, this is your sales process, right? That you
Right.
customized and created for your own firm. So kudos to you. For a firm
Thank you.
owner listening right now, Rafael, who might be in the position where you were before, thinking they just needed more leads, but then realizing you were just throwing money down the drain because you couldn't close them, or just frustrated with how much you're making off such a little amount, and saying, I need
Mhm.
to raise my fees, but I just don't know how. What would you say to the firm owner that might be listening right now that might want to hear something from you that you were in their shoes and you've been through the 8-week sales mastery course? What's something that you want to share with them that maybe you wish you would have heard in one of these videos?
Um, I would just say that, committing to doing this, investing into this program, once you find yourself on the other side of the eight, after you've done the 8 weeks and you're you've taken into consideration everything you learned, you'll be so much better prepared, for the daily challenges. So it's well worth the time because you're going to have to put some time into this
Yeah.
because you're basically going to have to learn a brand new system that you probably didn't know existed or weren't aware that you just these little dots are going to connect here and there. So
Yeah.
um, trust it and put the time into it, and you'll be so happy you did afterwards,
Awesome.
hands down.
Rafael, thank you so much for sharing your experience with another firm owner that might need to hear this today. It's been an honor to see your growth, and I'm so excited to see how this keeps going and propelling for you and just being able to enjoy the life that you have and the freedom. So, thank you for sharing.
My pleasure. Thank you for putting this together.